I want to first just focus on one point that I don't think has got a lot of attention on this, but which is important. I think the clear recognition that a mistake was made, and this is a political point, back in 2011 in the abolition of the HSE board. I think that was a mistake and that has to be rectified now, and Dr. Scalli makes that front and centre. And I say that because I think to a certain extent we have to be careful that in our own work and that we don't always look to maybe that the public service is bad, or structures around the public service are always inevitably bad. And I think Minister Riley at the time said, I'm going to take all the responsibility, I'm sweeping away all those structures, I'm going to be the single-handed great orchestrator of everything. We have to be careful in the political system. We have to work with our public servants to make sure that we deliver the services that our people need. But I say that then, which colours the second comment I want to make, that I think this Scalli report has done huge service because it does highlight a problem in our public service in relation to the nature of the communications between doctor and patient, particularly, as has been said several occasions here, between often male doctors and female patients in terms of the sharing information, just the very attitude. And it's very hard to define that, it's very hard to regulate for that, it's very hard to be scientific about what is actual real empathy and how do you listen and how do you provide that the true Hippocratic oath being fulfilled in terms of how you actually share information with the patient that belongs to that patient. I think there's a huge learning here because this whole issue about how we share data in the modern world is of increasing importance, and the ownership of data and the ability to get access to one's own, particularly health data, should be enshrined after this crisis, after this terrible disaster for those patients. We should hopefully get one good thing out of it, that we have a system in place that patients do have full transparency to access to the data. And where the state makes a mistake, and in some instances the mistake will be unavoidable in the sense that there are some instances going to be screenings that are not accurate in the end, we have to develop a mechanism where the state can share information about those failings without it being a court legal wrangling, where it's not doing down the state or the public service to admit mistakes. And I hope that is one of the outcomes of this, what has been a terribly trying process for the women, 250-odd women involved, that at least that's one positive outcome. I think the way the report was written, putting them centre stage and their comments centre stage, is absolutely right. It indicates the general approach we should take in terms of our medical profession, obviously, in our sharing of data, and in how the public administrative system works. Dr. Scalli has done us a huge service, as have those women who've done an incredibly difficult thing in going out speaking publicly about their own personal tragedies. They've done a service as he has. We should live up to that in the work we do from here.